Welcome to I Said What I Said, a sports podcast giving you opinions not heard anywhere else. I'm your host, Brad Wakai, alongside my co-host, Tyson Gentry, baby. We have him back for the NFL episode. Tyson, I had to go through the recap. I did it last week by myself. It's great to have you back in the co-pilot seat, my man.
I took umbrage with a couple things you said, but we'll let it slide and we'll get on to it. Oh, I'm just kidding. But I did like the Dolphins are the greatest show on grass. That one made me laugh.
And go check out the recap episode because all we do in this one is preview week 4. We talked about week 3. That's in the rear view. Go look at that one on our YouTube. Go check that out in your podcast feed. Go take a peek at that and know what we're talking about here as we head into week 4. Because Tyson, week 3 was crazy, man. Like there were some shocking results in this one. Cowboys getting beat, the Texans beating the Jags. So before we get into the games and run through everything, like what are you expecting this week? Like, is it going to go back to like kind of the normalcy that we've seen in the NFL, or what do you think?
I mean, last week had some teams getting back to form, I guess you could say. I mean, the Bills look good in week 2 as well, but some of the good teams bounced back, and some of the teams that we thought were good had bad games. But this is going to be a pretty normal as far as like NFL goes when you look at the schedule, which of course means it won't be.
Right.
But I think this is one of my favorite weeks of the year too, because it's like after this week, like what I see this week is what the team is in my head. Like I let go of all my priors that I've held for the first 3 weeks. Like they're like, oh, maybe the Colts are going to be good. Maybe CJ Stroud was the best rookie quarterback in that draft class. Things like that. The ideas have started to percolate, but this is like the quarter check-in it always used to be, so it was easier. But I don't really want to do it on Tuesday between week 4 and 5.
Yeah, that's fair. So let's jump right into it then. Let's not waste any more time. We got Money Making Time coming up at the end to help you make some cash. Falcons at Jaguars. And we're skipping the Thursday game because normally we don't do it. We're recording early today, by the way. This is on Wednesday as we're recording this because I'm going to be on assignment, and so I will be out covering a rodeo, Tyson, in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's gonna be
no way.
Yeah.
Dude, that's going to be awesome. Have you been to a rodeo before?
I've been to a rodeo. I haven't been to Sioux Falls, so I'm curious. Apparently it's a big event too. So
that's going to be amazing. You're going to have to fill us in next week. I can't.
Yeah, I got you.
How's this the first I'm hearing about this, dude?
I guess I didn't mention it, dude. I was flustered today. I was getting ready, all my stuff ready. I had to buy new stuff. I'm like, oh man. All right.
One of them.
But Falcons Jags. This is in London. So if you're wanting to get up early and watch this, you're gonna have to get up early on the West Coast because it's kicking off at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Jaguars have been here before. Excuse me, 3-point favorites. Both teams coming off of very interesting losses. What are you looking for in this game?
If the Falcons get back to being the Falcons, and what I mean is just running the shit out of football. Last week was weirdly a Kyle Pitts game plan wise, at least for Atlanta, which was nice to see, but also didn't work. So we'll see how they handle that going forward. And then is Trevor Lawrence bad now, or what's going on? That's what I'm looking for with Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean that's the question, right? Like if you're going to be a franchise guy, he's got to have to show up, man. And this is the game to do it here. And Doug Peterson, Tyson, I know you love him. I've had some questions and some not so pleasant things, I guess, to say about Doug compared to the rest of the Eagles fans comparatively. And I think you're starting to see that a little bit. Now, again, it's 3 weeks into the season, so nobody's overreacting here. But sitting at 1-2, this is a big game for them, and it's much bigger than the Falcons, who are, let's be honest, 2-1. They haven't had that success in a while there. So I think the Jags, it's a much more urgent week. I want to see if they come out with that fire. I mean, I can't believe this isn't a primetime game. This is the banger of the weekend. We got Dolphins at Bills. It's like two of the 5 best teams in the NFL, and it's slapped on CBS on a freaking 1 p.m. Eastern slot. I mean, I think we all know kind of what we're watching here, but Tyson, what's something that you're specifically circling?
Everything is obvious. I don't think there's any hidden thing that I can think of, at least off the top of my head. Are the Bills big picture stuff? Is the Bills defense the best in the league? Because I'm pretty sure the Dolphins offense is. I don't have any inclinations to go anywhere else. But the Bills defense has been really good, even in week one. They lost the football game because Josh Allen turned the ball over 100 times, but the defense was really good. The defense was good against the Raiders, but this is a different level of offense that you're going to face. And so can Miami do it, I guess, is another question against on the road here. And I like that it's at 11 my time because it feels like this window leads to more explosive scoring.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Oh, and the Bills are 3-point favorites at home, over under 53.5. Obviously, with the expectation with the Dolphins that they're going to be able to score, and it's not like the Bills don't have a bad offense either. So I want to see under Sean McDermott, can they slow them down? Can the Miami Dolphins get slowed down by a team? Because this is a place where they haven't had a lot of success. For some reason, Tua beats Belichick. He just can't beat the Bills, and so I want to see if that continues in this one. This is going to be an awesome game. Steelers at Texans. Steelers coming off a road victory in the Vegas home opener. Texans coming off a road victory over the division rival Jaguars.
You got to see if Pittsburgh is going to figure this thing out on offense. I mean, they won and it wasn't close, but it wasn't pretty either in front of the country last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess now as we're recording. But I'm pretty sure we know what Houston is. I don't have any illusions that the Texans are going to make the playoffs or anything. CJ Stroud looks like he can, on the right week, that offense could find a way to score enough points to beat anybody as long as the defense keeps them in it. And the defense has been really good for Houston relative to expectations so far. But this game's about Pittsburgh.
Can Pittsburgh's defensive line get after Houston? Because we said coming into the season, this offensive line for Houston, there's question marks there, and it hasn't been an issue so far. Does that change this week? And on the flip side, a Texans defense, that looked bad in times against the Colts, they're young, they're inexperienced, but then completely stifled anything the Jaguars want to do. Is this maybe a get-right spot for the Steelers offense? Or is it a case where, no, that offense is actually bad and this defense, capitalizes on some mistakes maybe that the Steelers throw at them. So, yeah, that's what I'm curious to see in that one. Tyson, how about this one? The Rams and Colts. Rams go on the road, Colts at home. Now, apparently Anthony Richardson's getting healthier and he's progressing through concussion protocol. The Colts are 1.5-point favorites. That's going away from them now. I think it's based on the news that Richardson is coming back because the Rams secondary can get diced up. I don't know if you can do that with Anthony Richardson compared to what you can do with Gardner Minshew. And so that's really what I want to watch here. And on the flip side, the Rams, Tyson, they can dice up anybody with their passing attack. It just didn't happen against the Lou Anarumo style of defense against the Bengals. They don't have that in Indy.
Well, they also felt like LA went away from the middle of the field and kind of not intermediate routes. It felt like it was either go big or go home there to end the game, which didn't help the numbers, basically, so to speak. So the passing offense is good in LA. But, dude, the story to me is, is Shane Steichen going to do this thing? Is this with what we've seen through 3 weeks, there are genuinely people asking, can the Colts win the division with Anthony Richardson back? And, the answer is probably no. But this could go a long way towards determining it because when I was watching, it didn't feel like Gardner Minshew did anything to me that Anthony Richardson scores on those drives too. I just don't. It might not be the way that Gardner ended up scoring, but I was impressed with him to start the year, and I think they would have won last week with him. The hype would be through the roof.
Oh gosh, that game was so hard to watch. Colts Ravens. Oh my goodness. Vikings at Panthers. Bryce Young trending to returning. He practiced today. I think they're gonna, if he's able to go, they're gonna play him. They're not waiting around on Bryce Young. Like Andy Dalton said, no, this is Bryce's show. So if Bryce Young is ready to go, they're going to play him. The Panthers know this is a transition period here. That defense is banged up. I expect the Vikings offense to have a field day here. But what I'm looking for, can the Vikings take care of the football? And if they can, this is the game to do it.
I'm on the flip side. What is Bryce Young? He's going to get blitzed a ton this week against Minnesota. That. I think Florida's just set the record for most blitzes in a game.
Yeah,
percentage-wise. A week after
play.
Being the first team to ever split it 40-40-20 for blitzes and then dropping 8. So he's going to throw Bryce some looks he hasn't seen yet. And Bryce hasn't been impressive. So this is going to be another test for him.
Bucs at Saints. This is such an interesting game to me, Tyson, because Bucs came back to earth against a real team in the Eagles. Are the Saints a real team? That's what I have questions about. Now, on the flip side, Derek Carr, he's going to be out. It's going to be Jameis Winston.
Derek Carr a real quarterback?
Right. Does that help the explosive offense, or the lack of explosive offense, I should say, that the Saints have been throwing out there to get Jameis Winston back in the mix, who's going to push the ball down the field? And also Alvin Kamara's back. That's going to help things out as well.
This is going to be physical and fun to watch, and there's probably going to be punches thrown in this one. This is going to be they're going to fucking hit the shit out of each other. It's going to be amazing.
Commanders at Eagles. I'm just going to say this right now. If the Bills defensive line did that to the Washington offensive line, good luck in this one. Because
that's what I
mean, and on the flip side, can this offense get rolling for the Eagles? That's what I want to see too. This would be a good spot to do it.
Well, that's the tough thing right now with the Eagles. Like, I get exactly what you're saying. It feels like the offense isn't going, but at the same time, they just had like 450 yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and like made it look pretty easy for most of the time. Maybe it doesn't look like it did in 2022, I think, is kind of one of the conclusions that I'm slowly getting. They'll get there. It was nice knowing you, Sam Howell, because it's going to be a long weekend. Dude, he took a bunch of sacks last week when they weren't bringing any pressure. It was just 4-man front. The offensive line stinks. You texted me early in the Commanders game, and you're like, I'm kind of digging this Bieniemy thing. And I was like, dude, it was right after Sam Howell juked out 3 or 4 people. We were vibing, feeling it.
I know.
What's the check-in? What's the temperature looking like?
Well, I'm still kind of into it. The quarterback just can't hold on the ball forever. Like he'll learn. He wants to make that big play. Honestly, he kind of got rope-a-doped when they came back against Denver. They're like, look at these explosive plays I'm making. I can do it against anybody. Then he ran in the Buffalo Bills with a real defense and got trucked. So good luck. Eagles 8.5-point favorites here at home. That's going to be a tall task for the quarterback of the Commanders. Broncos at Bears. You want to talk about the best game? Oh, sorry. No, the absolute dregs of the weekend. It's the 0-3 Broncos at the 0-3 Bears, both teams who have had the worst performances to start the NFL season. Broncos on the road, I mean, just think about this, are 3.5-point favorites. The Bears on a neutral, they're saying, against the Broncos who just let up 70 points, let the Commanders come back on them, lost to the Raiders, would be about 5.5-point favorites on a neutral, Tyson. What a game this is.
So this is a bit ridiculous because the Broncos just lost by 50. But at any point in the game against the Dolphins, did they look worse than the Bears just looked like against the Chiefs? Or like it was at least pretty close. That was the recipe, I guess, is Cortland Sutton's just going to get peppered with targets. We're going to try to run the ball, and then we're going to go away from running the ball. I don't understand what's happening in Denver. The Bears might have the first and second pick in the next draft. I think that's the best thing you could say about them.
If the Bears and Justin Fields can't move the ball in this defense, cut him. He's, you know what I mean? Like, just whatever he's been doing to this
Training for Trey Lance.
Oh my God! I mean, he probably, honestly, Trey Lance probably a better look. Justin Fields can't play. Ravens at Browns, big divisional matchup here. Big divisional matchup. Browns have looked good. They're 2.5-point favorites at home. Ravens looking for a little bounce back. That after that very, very weird loss against the Colts. I'm looking to see, can the Browns continue their dominance on defense against a much better quarterback, a step up in class here. But the Ravens offensive line, they could get eviscerated by what Jim Schwartz and this defense are doing.
You said it was a weird loss, but didn't it feel like, oh man, this is such a Ravens game right now?
Except for when Tucker missed the bomb field goal, because I thought for sure he was making it. I know. When he missed it, I was like, well, they lost.
Yeah, that was tough. But it feels like this team is in a game or two like this every season, and it stunk that it happened in week 2. And I still don't know what the offense is going to look like. I think it looks the exact same at this point. Deshaun Watson just had his best season or best game as a Cleveland Brown, I think, by a long shot. And Myles Garrett, 3.5 sacks last week.
Yes, 3.5, I believe. At least 2.5 for sure.
He's rolling, and it's going to be and look, Lamar Jackson's got to put his track cleats on, I think.
Bengals at Titans. Now, Bengals coming off a come-from-behind victory against the Rams. Like, they were down, they came back. Really a dogfight in that one, which was surprising, I think, for some. But, they got Jamar Chase going, and then the Titans were just thoroughly embarrassed against the Browns. Like, that offense was a joke. Derrick Henry couldn't get things going. I want to see if it was that toe injury, if it was the Browns defense that stifled him, the combination, or has he just lost a step? Like, I don't want to say it too loud. I just kind of want to whisper it. Just in case.
Kick your door in.
Just in case he runs for 100.
Well, he might. That's the thing.
Right.
Is like it's still, you can look at him and be like, "Oh, this guy's done," and then he's still going to get out there and do his thing. The Titans that was kind of embarrassing a little bit. Like to watch Mike Vrabel on the sideline, not look around, like what the hell? When they run out of time to end the half, it's like, what are we doing? And if the Bengals wanted the get-right game, now's the time because it should have happened. People thought it was going to happen. It happened a little bit Sunday night, but it's dude, it's almost like a gift. It's like, hey, you guys look like shit. We're going to let you start 2-0 or 2-2.
I wonder if the Titans offense, or I'm sorry, their defensive line can get after the passer the way the Rams did. I mean, because you have Aaron Donald, that's tough to block. But Jeffrey Simmons is, he's kind of that guy too. So I want to see how that.
Can the Titans score enough points to put up with Burrow with 1.5 seconds?
I don't think so. I don't. So that's something for sure. Tyson, Raiders at Chargers. This is so interesting. Now, Jimmy G, he's still in concussion protocol. He's either going to play or it's going to be Brian Hoyer by the looks of it. Against the Chargers team who, let's be honest, if they escaped freaking Minnesota with that one, is that new life? Is it like, oh my God, how did we avoided the dreaded 0-3 start? Oh my God, here we go. We're coming back home. It's basically they're going on the road because Vegas, all the Raider fans down there. So it's going to be another road game for them. Are they going to be able to get up for this one and perform? Or is it, hey, Mike Williams is out. We're not really sure what's going to happen here.
This is a huge Quentin Johnson game. One way or the other, I think this is going to at least form some of my opinion on him. There was a lot of pre-draft stuff, but this is like it's not the best absolute scenario that you probably could hope for, but it's kind of a dream spot to be able, like, your quarterback is rolling right now. You're walking into the number 2 role against a team that hasn't been very good against the pass to this point in the season. This is all you can do is run go balls, they say. This is the time to do it. Like, go out there and you can run a straight line all day long. I think the Chargers throw for 500 yards.
Chargers are 5.5-point favorites in this one. Patriots Cowboys. So the Cowboys opened as about a touchdown favorite. It's down to 6.5, which is interesting. Now the Cowboys, again, they got completely ran over by the Cardinals in a shocking defeat. Their red zone offense was horrible. They're stepping up in class facing New England's defense. And if they're not going to have that offensive line, Tyson, this could get ugly. Like Dallas, remember Dallas is winning the Super Bowl after game 1? Yeah, they could start 2-2 now. About a quarter of the way through the season. I want to keep an eye on it because Dallas's offensive line, they're banged up and old. Like, this may be the situation going forward. And if that's the case and the defense looked like that, oh boy. And the Patriots on the other side, is that offense ever going to wake up? It's been brutal.
Probably not. I don't think so. Like, a whole summer with Bill O'Brien, and this is the first couple weeks that we get, and we were all so excited. Look, like, the Patriots defense is going to play really well. I think they match up well against Dallas. Healthy, so Dallas banged up, I think they match up super well with, but there's just no way to me that the Patriots offense outscores Dallas's in the long run. And, like, Dallas can score on defense, they can score on special teams, and obviously the Patriots could do that too. It's just nobody does it like the Cowboys.
Cardinals at 49ers. Cardinals coming off that huge victory. They got to go on the road and face the 49ers, who have been, results-wise, the best team in football. Niners 14-point favorites here. I expect them to roll in this one. To be completely honest, what I'm looking for, like, are the Cardinals fat and happy? Or they're like, yeah, we got our win, woo, and then they just come out and get blasted? Or is this actually kind of a real thing that Johnny Gans is building down there in Phoenix?
You know that fun thing the Cardinals have been doing this year where they've just jumped on teams to start games and just balloon leads? If that happens here against San Francisco, then I don't know what to think about Jonathan Gannon and this coaching staff because that's it, right now it looks like they are coming out like better prepared than everybody that they're playing. Which this guy has been a punching bag on this show and many others, and maybe we're wrong. Maybe the dude can coach. We'll find out. I think San Francisco's going to roll. I don't think they're going to get out to a 20-0 lead. I think Kyle Shanahan, I think Brock Purdy and those guys, I think they probably have a little something in the tank for Jonathan Gannon after the NFC Championship game last year.
Chiefs at Jets. Are you ready for this? On Sunday Night Football, we have the two great quarterbacks of our day, Patrick Mahomes going on the road to face Zach Wilson in a primetime slot. Now, here's what I want to know. Is it primetime magic for Zach Wilson and the Jets again? Remember, they pulled off the unthinkable against the Bills. Can they do it again against another AFC contender?
What do you actually think about Zach Wilson?
I think he's horrible.
Do you think he's the worst quarterback in the league?
I think it's him and Justin Fields who are the two worst.
I think he's worse than Justin. I was thinking about that today. Like
he's worse than Justin Fields because Justin Fields at least can run.
I think he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. It's like not even close. Which, juxtaposed to Patrick Mahomes is going to make this quite the clash of styles. I just we saw the Jets all of last year, and now we're just kind of being subjected to watch it again in prime time because Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be under center, and this is just kind of an instance of that. I couldn't be less excited about this as the primetime matchup with the games that are going on during the morning and afternoon.
It's a joke. It is a joke. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites. The shocking thing to me, Tyson, this opened 9.5. It stayed 9.5.
People love the Jets defense, dude.
Maybe a little signal to some people out there. It's prime time, dude. T Swift, she's in New York watching her boy Travis Kelce, and maybe the Jets have a little something, and Zach Wilson has something up their sleeve, and Robert Saleh gets the locker room galvanized. Maybe that's the case here.
Little Dan Lanning speech.
Maybe that's all you need, apparently. Let's get into the Monday Night Football game before we get into Money Making Time. Giants are at home. They're 1.5-point favorites. Now, this is heavily coming back to the Seahawks. I think both these teams, there's a possibility they get healthy. Seahawks have been missing two of their tackles. I'm not sure if they're going to be back, but their secondary, there's a chance that they get a couple of their pieces back. And then for the Giants, Saquon potentially could be back, and their left tackle, Andrew Thomas. I don't know what to make of either of these teams. What I want to watch, I want to learn something. I want to learn, are the Seahawks actually good on offense? Are they bad on defense? And are the Giants, can they actually score? Or was that 1-2 quarters against the Chargers, not the Chargers, the Cardinals, was that just an anomaly and they actually really suck? And because if Daniel Jones can't score on this defense, I mean, what are we doing here?
I don't really know what to make of this game at all. I don't really know what to make of either one of these teams. Seattle, I thought, was way more effective, running the football. Kenneth Walker, big game. Zach Charbonnet got involved. But that's what they want to do. And so can the Giants take that away? Probably. I don't know though either, because the Giants have invested some of the most capital on both sides of the line of scrimmage with big swings in the last couple of years, and it kind of looks like both those guys might stink. And so that makes that hard as well. This game is the battle of disappointments. You're battling for the third wild card. It's not. I don't know. These teams stink. I think that's my feeling early in the season. One of them is going to win 10 games and they're going to suck.
Oh God! If one of these teams wins 10 games, well, I hope it's the Seahawks. But, maybe they can compete in that division, so I don't look like such an idiot. But Tyson, let's get into Money Making Time. That's going to do it for our preview here. Go back and listen. I've already given out 2 plays. I guess it wouldn't matter by the time you listen to this because one is in the Thursday night game. So that's why you got to go listen to the Monday recap show so you can get that all in your feed and get ready to rock for the week. So, Tyson, I'll throw it to you. You're back on the show. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I got to do the recap because it was a good week. What do you know? We got absolutely smoked in week 2. We bounced back with a really good week in week 3. I went 4-1, thankfully. The overs were hitting, baby. Play of the week, Bears, Chiefs. That came home comfortably. Thank you, Chiefs. Broncos, Dolphins, which we were both on. I mean, really? Tyson, that went down to 47.5? How funny is that? Chargers money line. Thank you. I got that home. Texans Jaguars. Man, CJ Stroud, shout out, because the Jags weren't doing anything. And then the Raiders. What was I thinking? Really? That was gross. Beat the closing line, but yeah, that's not gonna feed the family. Tyson, for the week, I was up 2.6. Yeah, 4-1 will. I mean, I was up 2.63 units. You were up 0.91 with the one play, bringing us to 3.54 units on the week. So overall, I'm down 0.98 units. You're down 3.18 after the week 2 disaster that we both had. And so the podcast only down 2.2 units overall. I think we're finding our stride a little bit here. I mean, we got week 2 was not fun. Like, no, I'm looking at this, it's making me sick.
Well, get it out of your face because we got to get fired up for this one. And I'll have more than one play this week, I promise. Last week I was getting my appendix out, so I wasn't in the frame of mind. My first play here, Brad, Pittsburgh and Houston, under 41.5.
Okay.
I just think even if the Steelers offense has figured it out, I think this is probably a welcome to the NFL moment for CJ Stroud against the Steelers defense.
That's interesting. That is super interesting. I think maybe other people can make the argument, but what if it goes the other way? You know, what if there's turnovers? I don't know. I think I guess this would be,
and I'd be wrong, but I just look. I mean, I'm seeing a 21 10 game. I was gonna say 14, but I don't think Houston scores much.
Okay. All right. My first one here. I absolutely love this play. I really do. I'm going to go the Rams. Team total over 23.5, minus 118 here on FanDuel. How do you beat the Colts? Do it through the air. Do it through explosive plays. Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, embarrassed with that offense on national TV. The offensive line got demolished. They're going to have something up their sleeve. They're going to be able to put something on the screen in this one, and I like them to score 3 touchdowns and get a field goal to cover this number.
I got the under again, 40.5 in the Tampa Bay versus New Orleans Saints game. I just think this is a defensive kind of matchup. This is going to be 2 physical teams. These are 2 offenses who aren't really very good. And you kind of alluded to maybe Jameis opening up more big plays for the New Orleans Saints, but it also opens up the opportunity for more takeaways for the Buccaneers defense for that offense to then turn around and stall out. This one to me is the play that I'm most comfortable with this week.
Ooh, is that a POW?
I guess we could make it one. I haven't really thought it all the way through, but that is what we're doing. We're on the show, might as well.
Bang, pow for Tyson. Bucs Saints under 40.5, minus 115 here on FanDuel. I kind of alluded to it when we were doing our game preview. I'm going to take the Vikings minus 4 at minus 110. The regression, listen, I mean, maybe it's a little over the top with like coming back down to earth from last season. I think they got to get some luck back in their way going into this one. The Panthers, that defense is decimated. They are banged up. They're hurt. They got absolutely exposed by the Seahawks. And now you got to face this offense. So I like the Vikings here. And then, like you said in your preview, Brian Flores is going to have something up his sleeve, whether it is Andy Dalton or whether it is Bryce Young. Like, he's going to be able to throw some things out there. Now, Dalton will be able to handle it better. So I wouldn't like this as much if it's Andy Dalton, but Bryce Young, it's going to be a learning curve here, especially with what old Brian Flores has up his sleeve.
And that's the one I'm on with you. That's the last play that I have here. I do want to say here, and then I'll throw it in the chalkboard as well. I want Justin Herbert passing numbers. They're just not available to us at this time. I think he's going to throw for a bajillion yards. But no, I'm with you. It's are the Panthers going to be able to score enough to keep up with Minnesota? I don't think so.
Browns minus 2.5, minus 118. I'm just going to try to get ahead of this number here. I think there's a chance this goes to 3. And again, Tyson and I are recording on Wednesday. It's going to be on Friday. So if it's 3, I would take Browns minus 3 still. It just would suck to push. I just think the Browns are a better team. Like, we came into this season like, oh, the Browns could be a dark horse. And then we saw Deshaun Watson continue to struggle, and we're like, oh, well, maybe they're not.
We saw Nick Chubb.
Then we saw Nick Chubb, and then they didn't miss a beat, right? Like, I mean, that does suck, but let's be honest, guys. It's a running back in the NFL. Like there's a reason why these guys aren't paid top dollars. It's because there's a bunch of guys who can come in and fill in. And Deshaun Watson had his best game last week, thrown against a weak secondary. Guess what? He has another one he's facing in the Baltimore Ravens. If you push the ball down the field against that defense, good things happen. The Colts weren't necessarily able to do that with Gardner. I think the Browns will, and their defense is going to be able to hold Lamar Jackson because the defensive line gets through that offensive line. So give me Browns -2.5 here. And Tyson, you don't have any more plays?
I do not, no.
Okay. Well, I'll release my POW then, because I think you kind of know where I'm coming from here. Play of the week. I love the Chargers team total over 26.5. That's going to be 2 units for me. That's going to be a 2-unit play for me. I love this. That's at -1.
Did you hit a live 10-unit play this weekend?
Oh yeah. Well, I hit a Penn State. I upgraded that one. That was all in the chalkboard. So needed that
he's
one.
He's feeling good. He's throwing it around, people.
2 units. Chargers team total over 26.5. I don't want to go crazy on this. I'm really confident, but God, it's Chargers, right? Can you really trust them? But I'm trusting their offense to score. I'm not trusting them with the game spread, but I think they're going to be able to score points because if the Raiders are able to come down and maybe they finally get that running game going against the Chargers, because it seems like everybody does, they're going to be in chase mode. And this is the defense I want to be chasing on. So give me Chargers team total over 26.5, 2-unit play of the week.
So we both wanted in on the Chargers offense, people. And if you want to know who else we're in on going into this weekend, it'll be in our chalkboard at the chalkboard app in the App Store, Google Play. Group name is ISWIS presents the Roundtable Bets. It's just a little community of people throwing their picks in, whether it's parlays or picks against the spread or Tour de France winners or whatever you can think of. It's in there. So hop in there. It's free. We'll let you right in and just start having a good time.
Like, subscribe, and share the show. Smash that like button on YouTube.
Ring that
rate,
bell.
review, rate, review, all that good stuff in podcast form. Spotify, Apple. We love it. We love it. We appreciate the support. Stay connected with us in the meantime on social medias. X, Instagram, TikTok is at ISWIS_pod. We'll be back, Tyson. We'll be back to break down everything that we saw in week 4 of the NFL. I can't believe that already. Quarter mark almost the quarter pole.
I know. It flies by so fast that you have to start thinking, okay, I was wrong preseason because it doesn't feel like it, but that was a month ago.
Yeah, I know. It is nuts. So we'll have plenty of that for you. Some fun stuff as we get through the first 4 games of the season. Hope everyone has a good weekend watching football. We'll talk to you all soon. Peace.